So you want to know how I write my songs? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to tell it to you. We're going to break it down short, simple, and sweet. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Nicky Phenom, a singer-songwriter who has dared to dream and is now on a mission to capture that dream. I created this channel not only to share my original music, but also to document my journey and to share some of my experiences in hopes that it helps to inspire, motivate, and educate you and others like us so that we can grow together as artists. So I just want to make it clear that this is not like an instructional video on how to do, things any particular way. This is just my process, my methods of how I go about writing a song, and I'm just sharing that with you guys in case you were just curious about how I go about it, and maybe it'll also help inspire or help you in some way when writing your own songs. Okay, so first things first, I like to have a little bit of material with me here. This is the circle of fifths wheel because I am not the best at memorizing, the chord theory, like combination of chords that sound good together, in their little chord groups, chord families or whatever. So I like to have this with me. I recommend you get one if you don't have one, and it's very helpful. The other thing is I have my baritone ukulele instructional booklet. Yes, I still read books. I just prefer to have the feel, the book in my hand as opposed to, reading it on a tablet or whatever. So I'm old school. This is the way I like it. But the reason I have the baritone ukulele instructional booklet is because that's the instrument that I use when I'm writing a song. 99.9% of the time, that's the instrument that I'm pulling out. So those two things are the first things I get out, aside from my coffee in the mornings or something, and lay that on the table, getting ready for the songwriting process. All right, and then I grab my baritone ukulele, as I mentioned just a little while ago. This is the go-to instrument for me. I started with playing a regular, just standard ukulele when I first began my journey in music, and I fell in love with those things. I just love the convenience of them. I'm not a big guy, so these are kind of things are a little more fitting for me. And 4 strings only. It was more about the simplicity of it. It wasn't an intimidating instrument. So, anyways, yeah, I play a little guitar and I play a little harmonica, but the ukulele is what I started with, and just my first love. This is a baritone ukulele, which is part of the ukulele family, but this is more like a guitar, like a small guitar. It's tuned the same way as a guitar. All right. But anyways, I absolutely love this thing. Once I discovered this, I fell in love, and honestly, I haven't really looked back. I haven't even touched my other, ukuleles, and man, it's probably been some years now, to be honest. I probably, forgot how to do the chords and stuff like that, at least most of them. But yeah, this is the one. This is the one that I use now almost all the time during my songwriting process. So real quick, guys, I just want to mention that when it comes to songwriting, there are a number of ways that I can, put together these songs. I may start with just playing around with the instrument, and then, hearing some chords that I like, a certain combination, and I think to myself, oh, that makes me feel, a certain kind of way. It has, or there's a certain vibe going on. I'm thinking, that could be something I could use for a song. And sometimes I have lyrics, and I think, well, I thought of these words, these lyrics, and I want to put some sound to it. Now, now I need to figure out the chord combinations that I want to use. And sometimes I start with a verse, and sometimes I start with a chorus. Like I said, there's numerous ways that this all can kind of, structurally come together. There's no one way about it necessarily. But for this video, I'm going to give you guys more of like a typical way of how it normally, would come together for me. Alrighty, so typically what happens um, is I'm just, learning my ukulele, right? My instrument. I'm playing around with chords. Some, I already know. And then, like that instructional booklet I showed you earlier, it's maybe teaching me like a new chord or something. So, I'm kind of discovering things about it, like learning the fretboard and different notes and having fun with it, right? Just playing around with stuff. Whatever, blah blah blah. Okay, look, and again, I'm not a master, at playing this instrument. Okay, I'm still just learning things here and there. I pretty much try to learn, the basics and then just kind of, build off of it. I'm not all over the fretboard doing crazy solos, and like I said, I'm not, great at, your music theory and all that stuff. I'm just learning and I'm spending time with my instrument, getting to know it, and just enjoying it, right? So let's just say I'm strumming some chords, okay? Trying to hear something that sounds maybe good to my ear, right? Like something that resonates with me and I feel good about. Whether it gives me a feeling of being happy or it reminds me of something sad, maybe some kind of experience in my life, or whatever, or something that somebody had said to me, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm just keeping an open mind here, okay? So this is just like a little basic combination I'm putting together right quick. So let's say, I discovered this combination of chords, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I like that. I think I want to do something with that. So that's going to be, that's the first step. Typically that would happen. I found a good combination of chords, and it just, it does something for me. Okay. Okay. So now I have some chords, right? A combination of chords. And now that I have that, I kind of want to put some, let's assume that I don't have any lyrics written out or anything, okay? Now I'm thinking of, what can I say for this? Let's start building some words or message, right, that I want to put out there. What I like to do is start with some humming. So let's just say, and what I'm doing right there is I'm putting my brain to work a little bit. I'm coming up with some melody, trying to imagine, like, obviously they're not lyrics. I'm just humming, but it's kind of representing maybe what the lyrics might sound like the flow of them. Okay, because that could be like, so, and I'm just coming up with stuff off the fly here, but that gives me some thought, right? The wheels are starting to turn a little bit. Like, okay, I kind of like the way that sounds. Like, now let's start maybe turning that into a message or something, some lyrics, right? So with that, I would start just throwing words out, just saying words, like kind of feeling the vibe and just randomly saying what comes to mind and seeing what sticks. All right, so after I start, feeling the vibes from what's going on here with the chord combination and the humming, I'm kind of like, okay, how am I feeling with this? what's the vibes here? Am I happy? Am I sad? I'm excited. Am I, just feeling cool? Whatever. Okay. Now I want to start trying to add some words to this. So I know it's gonna sound a little bit silly, but what I like to do is just start speaking, right? Start singing. Just throw in some whatever words come to mind as I'm playing this, and they may, it may be a ridiculous thing. Like I may say something that doesn't make any sense at all, which is totally fine. Remember, I'm just enjoying this right now, and I'm just kind of going with the flow. It's about keeping an open mind and letting those creative juices flow. All right, I'm not performing this in front of, an audience. There's not people sitting in front of me, expecting me to entertain them. It's just me and my instrument, and I'm just chilling. Okay? So just look, this is just some random, thing off the top of my head, okay? It's not I probably would not use this for a song, but so let's just, I'm strumming, right? And I don't know how to let you go. No. It's okay, so it's whatever. I start singing. And I ask myself, how did I feel about that? I may have hated it. I may have loved it. I may have felt, two different ways about it. I said, I kind of like that. I think it's going somewhere. I like the potential I got. But some of the stuff I'd rather, disregard and just, kind of come up with a different flow of lyrics. Okay, maybe change something here or there. But that's basically the next step. So we did the humming and the strumming. We got the vibe, and now we're experimenting with some lyrics. All right, guys. Well, believe it or not, that is pretty much it. I told you it was going to be short, simple, and sweet, didn't I? Yeah, it's like, again, I want to mention there's numerous ways that I have come up with song ideas. This is more like just, for the sake of this video, not trying to drag it out. I just want to give you like one of the ways that it happens for me. Okay. It really depends a lot on where the inspiration comes from, right? Like where it begins. And what I mean by that is, is it me just playing around on the instrument and then getting inspired by the chord combination that I'm hearing, right? Like, oh, okay, that could be a song. Go from there, and I start building off of that, right? Or, I was inspired by something somebody had said. Maybe I saw, an inspirational movie, or I was talking to a friend or something, and they said something interesting that resonated with me, and I thought, oh man, that'd be a good message for a song. Or I might just have this feeling, right? I experienced something that made me feel a certain way, and I felt like I want to put it in words, and then put some music to it. And so it all where is it beginning? Where is this coming from? And then you start building around that little by little. And I may start with a verse, as I'm playing this, that combination I just showed you guys as the example. Perhaps that's a verse for me. I'm like, okay, now I got to come up with the main message, which would be the chorus. Like, what's the main message? Now I might even have to change up the chords for that particular part of the song. Or vice versa, I decide this is going to be my chorus. This is going to be my main message, And then I got to start building a story around that with my verses. So, like I said, it really depends. But I hope you found that to be helpful, what I just shared with you guys. Inspirational, informative, and hopefully a little interesting. I try to make these videos interesting. I'm not sure how interesting a guy I am, but hey, I'm saying what I think I need to say to help you guys. and to help each other grow as artists, because as you know, that's what this channel is all about. So there you go. That's my songwriting process. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this one. I'm Nicky Phenom. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Again, if you found this video to be inspiring or motivating, informative, or interesting in any way, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so that way we can keep this going and keep supporting each other and helping each other grow as artists. Oh, and by the way, if you are new to my channel and meeting me for the first time and are curious about the music that I've written, I'll leave some links so you guys can go and check that out and give it a listen. All right. So with that said, always remember, keep rocking, follow your dreams, and believe it can happen.